about a chapter from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. It's the chapter on outwitting the ghosts of fear. And so we're going to talk all about this. I'm actually going to share a presentation that I did for the Napoleon Hill Institute. If you are not familiar, the Napoleon Hill Institute is the #1 personal development company, and it is the only institution that is licensed to coach Napoleon Hill's philosophy of success and their principles. And if you have never heard of me, again, my name is Carla Elizondo. I am a principal teacher at the Napoleon Hill Institute. And if you're interested in anything personal or spiritual development, or you are into Napoleon Hill, please reach out. All the information is below, and I would love to speak with you. But today I want to focus on this lesson of outwitting the ghosts of fear. I sure struggled with a lot of fear, and it still comes up. Obviously, I'm human, and the fear never goes away. It's just feedback. It's just information as to the places that we still need to grow, release, forgive, and really kind of process and step into the new version of ourselves. So these are slides that I'm going to share. And if you saw my presentation before, you know I love me some good slides. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And we're going to go over this together really quick. I used to really hate PowerPoint presentations, but the more I do it pretty quick. So it's pretty engaging. So just stick with me here. So let me go ahead and share this with you. And this is from, again, one of the lessons that I shared in one of our mentorship calls. So every Tuesday at the Napoleon Hill Institute, we have mentorship calls that we go through. And so let me actually get back to the first slide because that is the last slide and we don't want to start with that. But at the Napoleon Hill Institute, we obviously study the book Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill, among many of his other books, The Science of Personal Achievement, The Master Key to Riches, all sorts of other things. So again, if you are a fan of Napoleon Hill, you do not want to miss out on all of the good things that are happening. And so many wonderful things continue to happen. Our programs are really worldwide at this point, and I'm just so excited about it. So if I can actually find my beautiful slide deck, we will get started. But I want to ask you, what holds you back? What are your ghosts of fear? What holds you back? What are your ghosts of fear? I would love for you to, if you're watching this live, let me know. I'm pretty sure I have a chat up. But if not, type it in the comments. I would love to see any of the comments and the replays during the replay. I would love to see, what are your biggest fears? What holds you back? If you've heard me talk before, what is your 1 degree? What is your 1 degree? I would love to know. I think I got my slides up. Here we go. All right, the beauty of being live. This used to be one of my fears, going live, not knowing what I'm doing. But you know what? We're doing this together. All right, here we go. Let me enter full screen here. Beautiful. How to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. How to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. Did you know that there was 6 ghosts of fear and that you had to outwit them? Did you know that? So the fear, as Napoleon Hill explains, are the darkness and the shadows that keep the light out. So the fear, the doubt, the negative beliefs, the limiting beliefs that we picked up through childhood, perhaps, family members, parents, siblings, teachers, schoolmates, put on us these kind of clouds, these shadows, this darkness that keeps us from truly believing in ourselves, from truly shining our light to our fullest, being fully expressed, being unapologetic, right? Authentically ourselves. So these fears are the darkness and the shadow that keep the light out. So I would encourage you today, every day really, but today, as you listen to this, take inventory of yourself. Really go within. I know it can be scary at times, especially if we find ourselves in situations that we don't like the results we're getting. So take a moment to just reflect. Take inventory of the way your life is going. What are the results you're getting? Are you pleased with the results you're getting? Really take inventory. What fears are you addicted to? You might say, Carla, I'm not addicted to anything, really. I don't have an issue with that. But I would invite you to, just for today, entertain the thought that unconsciously you might be addicted. They show up in habits, intrusive thoughts, these fearful thoughts. What if I can't do that? What are they going to think? What are they going to say? I don't want to step out. I'd be embarrassed if I failed. What fears are we addicted to, consciously or unconsciously? And I like to think of addictions as things that we just don't have control over. They happen automatically, and we don't like the way they make us feel, but we just keep doing it out of habit, and we don't know how to stop it. So what thoughts are holding you back? What fears? What are you afraid of? What fears are you addicted to, consciously or unconsciously? And Napoleon reminds us that fear is the biggest and most destructive addiction. Fear is the biggest and most destructive of our habits, of our addictions, of a thought pattern. Fear is extremely destructive. Look at this cute little slide I did. So everything that falls under the umbrella of fear: control, pride, overthinking, feeling like a victim, anxiety, worry, entitlement, doubt, irritability, anger, feeling irritable and angry. By the way, I had every single one of these. I related to, and I had, and we all do, right, at different points of our life, but these were absolutely in control of me. Fear ran my life, it ran my decisions, and it was producing all of my results. I always needed to be in control. I was prideful. I wasn't willing to be a student. I didn't want anybody to see me not knowing what I was talking about, or I didn't want to ask for help because that would, leave me in a place of vulnerability. I had anxiety. I felt like a victim. I did not feel like the creator of my life. I felt like a victim. I felt like everything was happening to me. Like, oh my gosh, poor me. I mean, I wasn't even thinking this consciously, but it was a feeling. Like, God, I'm doing everything. I'm studying. I'm investing. I'm a good person. I'm kind. I'm courteous. I'm considerate of other people. I tithe. I pray. I do nice things. But yet I was expecting a different result. And our results are not from what we think. Our results are from what we feel and believe to be true about ourselves. It goes back to self-image. How do you feel about yourself? Not what you think about yourself, but how do you feel about yourself? Because how you feel about yourself will dictate all the results in your life. We can think all the time that we're confident, but being confident and being assured usually is just covert pride and control, honestly, and entitlement. So to really be in a state of power, in a state of being creative, we must truly live from faith. It's all the opposite. It's surrender, humility, calm, being the creator instead of the victim, clarity, having trust, gratitude. Gratitude is the opposite of entitlement. Being in a state of belief in ourselves, belief in others, being compassionate, being at peace. So the first one here was fear, living under fear. I lived under this umbrella almost my whole life, to be honest, up until I was 35 years old. I was always in a state of worry, in a state of anxiety, overthinking, doubt. I was irritable. My window of tolerance was so small. I was always angry. I was just irritated and bitter. It's again, and that's the way I felt. It was a feeling, and then that was producing my results. Not what I was consciously thinking in my conscious thinking mind, but in my subconscious feeling emotional mind, it was fear. It was absolutely hijacked. If you've heard of, neural hijacking, when we continue to repeat certain thoughts, it takes over truly our brain, which dictates all of our behavior, our actions, all the hormones, all the way we experience literally our physical body, our physiology. Our psychology becomes our biology. Our psychology becomes our physiology. So again, the way you feel will be the thing that dictates your results, not the way you think in your conscious thinking mind. So this is fear-based living, and I was definitely here for so long. But since I've studied this material, since I've really started developing myself, both personal, spiritual development, being at great places like the Napoleon Hill Institute, I've been surrounded by like-minded people with I can trust for the first time. I can truly surrender. I feel connected. I'm using the mastermind principle, the principle of the mastermind alliance. And again, these are all principles that we study here. So again, if you are looking for a community, if you really want to live in faith and no longer live in fear, I highly recommend investing in yourself, whether it be here at the Napoleon Hill Institute or somewhere else. But if you want to be the creator and no longer be the victim, if you want clarity and peace and calm and be in a state of gratitude, it's so important to switch to a mindset of faith versus fear. So how many ghosts are standing in your way? How many ghosts of fear are standing in your way? These are the 6 basic fears that Napoleon Hill describes in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And they are poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love of someone, old age, and death. These are the 6 basic fears. Poverty is the number one. Afraid that we're not going to have enough money, scarcity, lack mentality, dog eat dog world, always having to compete with other people. And then the fear of criticism, that's the second one. Afraid of what other people are going to think of us. They're not thinking of us, by the way. Napoleon Hill has this thing in the Science of Personal Achievement. He says, well, what will they think? What will they say? Everybody says, I can't do that. They are against me. What will they think? And Napoleon says, to this day, I have never found who they are because they don't exist. They are you. They are your own inner voices, your inner critics. And then we blame other people for keeping us down, for, not giving us the opportunity. And until we take full responsibility, forget what they say, forget what they think, keep going. The 6 basic fears lie within us. They're not outside. They're not like stalking you and, putting the shadow over you. They're within you. They're perpetuated by you, by us, by me, myself is included. So the 6 ghosts of fear are the cause of all discouragement, timidity, procrastination, indifference, and indecision. So if you've ever felt discouraged, timid, if you've procrastinated, feeling indifferent, just kind of going through the motions, being numb, not really caring anymore, not thinking you have an option or a choice, and being indecisive, afraid to make a decision, afraid to invest in yourself, spend the money, move to a new place, start a new relationship, end an old relationship, get sober. I shared my journey of getting sober, and that was because I made a decision. I was afraid to make that decision. I was in a place of indecision for years. But once I made that decision, it totally changed my life. And these 6 ghosts of fear, they create lack of ambition, lack of self-reliance, lack of initiative, lack of self-control, and lack of enthusiasm. These ghosts are creations of uncontrolled imagination. These ghosts of fear, and he puts them in air quotes, these ghosts, because they're phantoms, they're illusions, they're not real. They're boogie monsters. Just like when we were younger, or if you have kids, or if you have siblings, or you remember when you were younger, oh, how silly, I thought there was a ghost under my bed. I thought there was a monster under my bed. And we think that's silly. But we don't question as full-grown adults how silly it is that we believe in these phantoms, these fears, these ghosts that hold us back, these lies, these narratives that tell us that we can't do it, that we're too old, that we don't have the education, that we don't have the skills, or we're not as talented as someone else. These are lies. These are no different than the boogie monsters under our bed. So just as if you were to look at someone, oh, you're being silly. It's a shadow on the wall. Don't be afraid of that. We really need to ask ourselves, what shadows, what darkness, what ghosts are we afraid of inside? They're not coming from outside. We are perpetuating it, and we can change it. That's the beautiful thing. It might be scary at first to understand it's inside, but the beautiful thing is it's inside and we have total control. So how are you using the faculty of your imagination? Again, when we're kids, our imagination is out of control. We see the shadow on the wall. We think it's a ghost. We think it's a monster. We hear a little rustling of the leaves outside and we think that there's something in our closet. Like our imagination is running wild. It's uncontrolled. And we suffer from that. But the same as when we're adults. When we fear taking a risk, when we fear investing, when we fear switching jobs, when we fear ending the relationship, when we fear starting a new relationship, opening our heart, these are just like those, rustling of the leaves outside. There is nothing there to be afraid of, truly. Yes, does life happen and we get hurt? Have we had trauma in the past? Has there been situations that we've been betrayed? Absolutely. But if we let that dictate all of our future life, we're screwed. We cannot let that happen. So if you're struggling with something like that, it behooves you to really process and work it out. Go to therapy. I'm a therapist, right? Seek help if you need it. It's really important. We can't move forward in life if we're letting the past dictate our future, especially if we've been through trauma, especially if we've been betrayed. We probably have more ghosts than other people, more ghosts of fear. So if that's you, it's time. It's time to turn the lights on. It's time to see the truth. Take that inventory. Are you letting your imagination run wild? Are you just letting your imagination, think of all the terrible scenarios based on your past, which will dictate your future? Where does your mind wander to? How are you using the faculty of your imagination? Is it serving you? I describe imagination as a powerful, powerful tool. It's like a sharp knife. You hold it by the handle and it can sculpt beautiful, sculptures, and it can help you build things. It's a very sharp, powerful tool. Your imagination. But that's if you're wielding it correctly, if you're holding it by the handle correctly. But most of us don't even know how to use our imagination. We're holding it by the sharp end. We're holding it by the blade, and it hurts us. It causes us pain. It causes us stress, worry, doubt, anxiety, the fear. How many times do we imagine worst case scenarios? Somebody's 5 minutes late with they're dead in a ditch. We have a headache. Oh my God, I have a tumor. It's cancerous. It's like when one of our loved ones is coughing. Oh my God, they're dying. It's like, how are we using our imagination toward ourselves and others? Are you in control of your imagination, or is your imagination in control of you? The imagination is one of the 6 higher faculties. And we are in full control. We have the capability to be in full control of our imagination. But most people's imagination are running them ragged. They're causing ulcers, headaches, their body being not at ease, but in a state of dis-ease or actual disease. Your imagination is the most powerful, powerful tool you have internally. How are you using it? Are you controlling it, or is it controlling you? Is it running wild from what you hear on the news, from what you hear from the neighbors? Are you in control of your thoughts and your imagination? There was a saying that I love, and I use this all the time. I repeat it to myself because I need reminding. Are you living from observation, what's going on in the world from the outside, from your 2 physical eyeballs, your 5 lower senses? Remember, we have 5 lower animal senses. Every animal, a horse, a pig, a dog, can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. We can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. We're animals too. But are we allowing that to run our lives? Are we living on an animalistic level? Or are we going up to the higher faculties that we as human beings have been blessed with? So we're either living from observation, from our physical sense of sight, from our eyes. Are you living from observation, or are you living from imagination, the inner eye? Really ask yourself that. Are you living from observation, what you see, letting what you see dictate how you feel and run your life? Or are you living from imagination, the inner eye? It's really about illusion versus truth. Illusion, which is a lie, it's fear, the ghost under the, in the closet, under the bed, the boogie monster, versus truth. Really, the game of life is a game of illusion versus truth. How do we know the difference? A lot of people think truth is what we can see. Illusion is our imagination, our crazy imagination. It's quite the opposite. Truth is the inner. The real world is our imagination. It's the inner world. It's the creative. It's the cause of everything that we see out here. What we see out here in this physical 3D world is just an effect of what we've imagined, got emotionally involved with, and have created. Every single thing in this world. I always think about the phone, the iPhone. This was a thought. This was first an idea. Now it's manifested in my physical hand. The microphone that I'm using was an idea. The ceiling fan in my room was an idea. It was a thought. Then it was manifest into physical form. So the inner world is truth. The outer world is really illusion. It can really trick us because it's really just what anybody else is thinking. So illusion versus truth. What is illusion and what is truth? I just spoke about that. When we are growing and changing, the old fears will try to drag us down. This is so true. So I would invite you to think, what area of your life do you want to change? Where do you want to see growth? It's May 1st. Happy May, by the way. We're in a new springtime. Summer's around the corner. What do you want to change? Is it your physical health? Is it your finances? Is it your relationship status? Do you want to step up more and feel on purpose in your career, in your calling? Do you want to feel more fulfilled when you wake up in the morning and how you create in this world? Where do you want changes? Where do you want to grow? When you start to even think about growing and changing, the fears that are inside, they will try to drag you down and hold you back. It's a very low, dense frequency. It's a low vibration that keeps you on the low frequency. Vibration is our emotions. So sadness, happiness, depression, anxiety, worry, these are all vibrations. And you can feel people's vibes. Like when someone's worried or anxious, you can feel it before they even speak. You're picking up their vibe, their vibration. Our emotions, vibration is really what emotions are. The words emotions, it's the conscious awareness of the vibration we're in. So when I'm sad, I am in a low vibration, but I just use the word sad. It's a feeling. So when I see someone that's super excited and happy, I'm not going to say, oh my God, I see that I'm consciously aware that you're in a high vibration. I'm going to say, I see that you're excited. So vibration is just really what's going on underneath our emotions. So depending on the emotions we're in or the vibration, will dictate the frequency we're on. And whatever frequency we're on, think about frequency as a floor of a building. So whatever vibration we're in will dictate the floor or the frequency we're on. And then the frequency we're on is all we can see around us. We can only experience like things on our frequency. And if we don't like what we're experiencing on this frequency, just like a radio station, we're on a certain frequency, we're on a certain station, a radio station, and it has a certain vibe, it plays certain music. If we don't like the music on that frequency, we have to change the frequency to get different music, to get a different vibration. And we're in control of that. So fear is a low vibration. We do not want to be on that frequency. Some of you are familiar with Dr. David Hawkins. He's a writer of many, many books, but Power versus Force is a very popular book where he talks about the map of consciousness, different levels as he describes it, different frequencies starting below, and these are all just examples, but starting below at 20, all the way up to 1,000. And he uses examples. So for, 20 is a very low numbered frequency or vibration, conscious vibration, right? It's like shame. We feel miserable. Humiliation is down at that frequency. So when we're vibrating and when we're on the frequency of shame, it's very heavy, dark, dense. It'll keep us low. It'll keep us there. All the way up to grief and then fear. We go up to desire, anger, pride. Most of the people of this world vibrate below a level 200. And as you can see on the right, that's a destructive energy. It's a contracting energy. But anything above, willingness, even just neutrality, 250 and above, it's a creative energy. It's expansive. So when we are 200 and below, we're in a state of force. 250 above, we're in a state of power. Do you see there's an earthquake happening right now? My computer was just shaking. I'm in California right now. This is fun. It's 1:49, May 1st, and there was just an earthquake. I hope everybody's okay. So when we are 250 and above, it's a creative energy. It's expansive. I love this. So we need to recalibrate to a new frequency. We need to recalibrate to a new frequency. We need to switch our vibration, which is our emotions, through our thoughts so that we're on a new frequency. So if you say, I want to live a new life, I want a new experience, I want a new frequency, I want to start experiencing new things, you will not be able to, quantum leap or, jump timelines, as they say, or get on a new frequency or a new level or a new timeline if you don't first change your vibration. Because whatever frequency you're on, whatever experiences you have is because of your vibration. So if you want to switch frequencies, floors, timelines, situations, we have to first change our vibration, our emotions, our emotional state. No matter what's going on, again, there are things that are happening outside of us that we have no control over. But mostly we're suffering from, uncontrolled imagination, what we're imagining inside. Fear is nothing more than a state of mind. Again, it's a state from within. This fear, this worry, this doubt we're dealing with inside. It's our state of mind. Think of an actual state like California, Georgia, Florida, here in the States, right? The United States of America. What state am I dwelling in? Right now I'm in California. There was just an earthquake right now, but there's another state. There's Nebraska. I have some sisters over in Nebraska. Think of the state of mind as an actual physical state that you're in, but it's in here. Are you in a state of fear or are you in the state of faith? Do you dwell within in the state? Like, I'm a resident of the state of fear. I certainly was for 35 years. But are you in a state of faith? That's where we want to get to. Here we go. I found a cute little figure of a fake state. I don't know if that's a real state. I don't think it is. So what state do you dwell in? The state of fear or the state of faith? It's one or the other. You can't be in the middle. Do you dwell in fear or in faith? So make a decision. Take an action within. Inside, make a decision within. I will dwell in a state of faith. And if we do find ourselves falling back, bounce back right away. It's a process. Don't beat yourself up. There's no shame. There's no blame. But make a decision that you're going to dwell in a state of faith. Decide. I love this. The word decide, the last part, C-I-D-E of that word, the root, comes from Latin where it has the meaning to kill or to cut down. The meaning is found in such words as genocide, germicide, herbicide, homicide, insecticide, suicide. It means to cut off and to kill. Homicide means to cut off and kill someone else. Suicide, to cut off and kill oneself. Pesticide, to kill off pests. So when you decide, you cut off and kill any other option. So let's decide that we're no longer going to be in a state of fear, that we decide to be in a state of faith. Do not identify with your emotions. Your emotions are just a receipt of how you've been thinking, mostly unconsciously. So it's not to blame, like, Carla, I think positive, I listen to the books, I do this. I'm sure you do, but they call that shelf help. It's only in the top conscious thinking part of your mind. The majority and what runs our life is the 95% subconscious part. The subconscious mind, what you feel, feeling is the secret. What you feel is what will dictate your life, not what you think. It's what you feel. But your emotions are dictated. It's the receipt of how you've been thinking, the thoughts that you become emotionally involved with. So don't identify with your emotions. Don't try to fight with your emotions. If you feel yourself in a funky state, don't get mad. If you find yourself scared, if you find yourself, angry or fearful or irritable, don't get mad. Don't start fighting with your emotions. It's just a receipt. How do you change that? Go to the thoughts. What am I thinking? What have I been thinking that is making me feel this way? And just start over. Choose new thoughts. So don't identify with your emotions. Don't blame your emotions. Don't fight with your emotions. It's futile. You cannot change your emotions because they're just a receipt. It's an effect. It's already happened. It's history. Yes, breathe through it. Ground yourself. It doesn't feel comfortable to be in a state of discord or dysregulation. But don't fight and don't identify with your emotions. Even when we say there's a cute little thing we can do, like, I am mad. No, I'm experiencing anger. I'm not mad. I am not madness. I am not anger. I am experiencing anger. Why am I experiencing anger? What happened to make me have this experience? How do we shift from a state of dysregulation, from a state of fear, from a state of, not feeling good? How do we shift that? Just like we talked about, we have to go to the cause. Thought is first cause. Our thoughts, mostly unconsciously, dictate how we feel inside. So if we want to change how we feel inside, we have to change how we're thinking. And that takes conscious effort. It's just like building muscle at the gym. Autosuggestion, another principle that Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, and I'll stop share here. Wow, y'all, there was an earthquake over here. If you were in California, put some comments. That was a kind of a big one. Let's see if we can guess. I bet it was the epicenter was probably the San Andreas Fault. I bet it was like that felt pretty strong. Maybe it was a 6 point something on the Richter scale. That was kind of scary. Anyways, I hope everybody's okay. But back to this. So how do we change the way we feel? How do we change the way we feel? Change the way you think. Again, you can't really change the way you feel, but you can breathe through it, because emotions only really last for 90 seconds at most. They pass because they are just like that earthquake. It was just the aftershock. The tectonic plates were the cause. The earthquake was an effect. The tectonic plates shifting, the earth shifting was the cause. The earthquake was the effect. So think of your emotions as the earthquake, and the plates that are shifting are your thoughts. Isn't that a great metaphor? So truly, it's like lightning and thunder. Our thoughts are the lightning. The thunder are our emotions. The thunder is just an effect. It's the sound effect of the strike of the bolt of lightning. So think of your emotions as the thunder, as the earthquake. And your thoughts are the electricity. It's the lightning bolt. It's the plates shifting. So the way we feel is a direct result of the cause. So when we have thoughts that are positive, that are good, that are focused on what we want, we feel positive, good. It feels good to go towards what we want. When our thoughts are of discord, of fear, of worry, of doubt, we're feeling a state of that. And again, it could be unconscious, but it's insidious. It's through repetition. It's through what we're, surrounding ourselves with. It's the conversations we're involved in. It's where we let our mind wander to, let our imagination go to. So autosuggestion is a suggestion from yourself to yourself, repetitions, affirmations, mantras. You might have heard all of these. But why don't they work for people? Because they do not understand that they have to feel it. They have to get emotionally involved with it. And it doesn't even have to be exactly, say, for example, why can't we manifest things or whatever, reach our goals? Well, because people say, just repeat it to yourself. I will make $10,000 by next month. By next month, I will make $10,000. You can say that all you want till you're blue in the face. But until you get emotionally involved with it and really feel and embody it, it will never happen. If you feel and embody it, truly get on that vibration, that frequency, by law, literally, they talk about universal laws, it will happen. But this is the missing part. We don't get emotionally involved with the autosuggestions, with the affirmations, with the mantras. How do you get emotionally involved? I want $10,000 next month. Carla, I've never done that. No one in my family has. It's just so far away. I can't get emotionally involved. Okay, fair enough. What makes you happy? What makes you feel opulent and abundant? I remember when I was living on my own, I used to love the sparkling waters like the LaCroix, and I would fill my fridge with those, like just stocked up. I felt like MTV Cribs over here. I would just stock up when I went grocery shopping. It made me feel so abundant, so wealthy. So I remember I would just like open my fridge and look at all of these amazing like ice cold like drinks of like I felt like I was in my own little candy shop, right? And I got into that feeling of it, of abundance, of wealth. Then I would bring in my money goal. So however you can get into that emotional state, get into the emotional state, because it's the feeling that will attract our experience. We are electromagnetic beings. Our thoughts are electric, our emotions are magnetic. So we send out the electric thought, and by our emotions and our feeling, we magnetize the experience to us. That matches our feelings. It's just like an echo. Anger, fear, frustration, anger, fear, frustration. Love, abundance, wealth, love, abundance, wealth. What we put out, we get back. Electromagnetic. We are both a transmitting broadcasting station and a receiving station, as Napoleon Hill talks about in the chapter on the brain. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you are interested in anything from the Napoleon Hill Institute, again, I'm a principal teacher. I offer free complimentary coaching calls. All the information and details are below. You can find me by my name on any of my handles on social media. I look forward to connecting with you, and ask me any questions that you have. Thank you for watching. I will see you.